Hello guys, Mr. came back once again. Start out the video. Most fans should not work in their favorite series. What do you mean they shouldn't work in their favorite series? What did you want the fans to work on these series? No, I would not. I would not hire these fans to work on these series at all. And it's quite simple of why. It's because most fans don't know what they want or don't know what they're doing for the franchise they claim to love so much. Now, what sparked this debate, I've always noticed this in comic sections and in debates and not debates, in videos and seeing people talk about and discuss these subjects, that a lot of people don't even know what they're doing with these franchises. They don't know what they want out of them. They don't know what would be best for the franchise. They're unwilling to make the proper sacrifices to make a good game, and will fall to their own personal bias and so on and so on. So what sparked this recent thought, watching Darksiders 4 is announced, and I'm a Darksiders fan. I love this stuff. And I won't say I'm an expert at it, but I will say I'm a fan. Like I love this franchise, right? New game is coming out, and see a video of people discussing ideas, and the video says one thing, and the comic section is somehow even worse. Like, what do you want from this game? Because we want to see all four horsemen, but we don't want the horsemen to be together most of the game. Then what's the point of having all four horsemen in the game then? What would be the... So we want to go have them in the game for all four of them on screen for a boss rush? Or for the bosses? That's just dumb! That's stupid! And we got people in the comic section co-op on this stupidity. Like, what's wrong? Like, you can't have people like this in your development team. You can't make a comic book with these people because they have no idea of what they doing. Just look at some of these fan videos. They quote unquote. So let's not think. One thing people will never talk about is why is it when people make a fan series, is not as good? Why is it not as on the same level? Why is it not as prestigious or renowned? It's because most fans not only don't know what they're doing, not only don't know what they want, they just I can't explain it to you. I can't find the words to conceive it, but it's just they don't do things with the best intent for the overall franchise, and they'll just throw everything at the wall. The perfect case, the Mario movie. The first Mario movie should have been flushing out the Mushroom Kingdom, Luigi, Mario, Mushroom Kingdom, flush out all that stuff, right? And Browser, right? Then we gotta have Mario Kart and Donkey Kong and all these other things. Like, what are we going to leave for the next game? Now we're going to Super Mario Galaxy in the next movie. Why? It's going to be a very simple 3-point placement of just first movie, second movie, third movie escalation. And you'll make way more money than just throwing it like everything, including the kitchen sink at them. Why? Why? Same thing with Batman, same thing with Iron Man. People keep saying Iron Man should be RDJ. He's not. He's not. He plays a character. Just like with Batman, just like with David Cornstalk Superman, he plays a character. He is not that character. And one day he's going to get old. One day he won't be acting as a character no more. And you know what they're going to do to the next actor? The same way they treated many other actors, including David Cornstalk, the new Superman. He's trash. Well, why is he trash? He's not like the other guy. So did he try to replace the other guy? No. So he's bringing his own interpretation. Yup. So why are you judging him as something that he was not trying? And ironically, the same thing happened with that Demon Seed Devil May Cry that came out. They made a reboot that was not trying to be one-to-one with the original, and they got mad that they gave him exactly what they marketed the game as. So why would you expect Classic Dante, but it didn't sell you Classic Dante? It goes across everything. There's a syndrome of the fans, quote unquote, know better, but they don't know what they want, and they don't know what they're doing. They just throw anything at the screen and think, why do you think so many Dragon Ball fan comics aren't good? Why do you think so many Star Wars comics and all these fan fiction stories, why do you think most of them aren't good? They don't fit the art style, they don't fit the character, they just do whatever they want. And this is why it comes down to a simple premise. Only certain people should work on certain things. It doesn't matter if you're the biggest fan. It doesn't matter if you sometimes I think I should. No. The people that should be writing for these characters and making games and making all this extended media and toys and action figures are people who know what they're doing. People who doing the things that are best for the character in the world. Not because they are a fan, not because they like this so-and-so. They're doing what's best for the character, the brand, and the universe. And it's only with those people that can make the right sacrifices, make the right stories, and write everything else. Well, just like get some of the best stuff in comics media. But instead, get most of the time, we get some person who grew up with it, who really want to work on it, and they produce a story that's not up to par, and they publish it, and then they get hated on, and then they become bitter, and then they just say the fan base is bad or toxic. Is it the fact that they toxic, or maybe Batman? It would have been best that she would never been put in that position in the first place, because not everybody should write for every character. Not everybody should work on every game. Cause like you just listen to the ideas. Like I had an argument with some ex-associates I used to talk to over like the next Avatar, right? Now I was unaware. I'm not too much of an Avatar here. I lightly watched it when I was growing up. Avatar: The Last Airbender, not James Cameron, right? And I was unaware there was already like a fire like Avatar, right? So I was unaware of that, but apparently in the original series he was introduced, right? Can't remember the guy's name. But the other guy was like, I want to see an Earthbender and want to see what they can do with it, and so on and so on. I was like, all right then, like so what's some story points? I want it to take place like 300 years into the future. Well, huh? Yeah, I want it to be like cyber futuristic as an Earthbender. Yeah. Like, do you have like concepts, ideas, story? Nope. So what makes you better than that Hollywood executive or the TV network producer who tell the writers to do the exact same thing? I want this, this, and this, and just make it whatever plot. But no. I'm paying you to write a story, so write for it. It's the exact same thing. How are most of these people any different from the executive when they put out some blanket skeleton with no bones, no meat, not even gristle on the bones, and just toss it out there to the writers and say, good luck. That's just what I want. That's not a story. That's a group of ideas. And ideals like that with no mainframe. There's no backbone. There's no spine. There's nothing aside from bones. There's not even a nervous system connecting these bones together. They're just bones. And you think that's a good idea? I think it's a great idea. You don't even have a story. You don't even have characters. You don't even have an overall story type, or what the kids say, a theme, a pathos, a theme. So you're just throwing anything at the wall. But somehow you're better than the Hollywood executive who does the exact same thing. The TV network producers and all these guys with money that y'all complain about tell writers to do this all day. But it's justified when you do it. And it's wrong when they do it because you make much less money than them. So if you was to make money, wouldn't you be on the same level? No. And that's when it goes back to that whole thing I keep saying. That people believe because they're an average person that it shouldn't be upheld to the same ridicule they do to celebrity people. Shouldn't these standards just be universal for everybody? Just because you broke is not an excuse to be a scumbag or a pile of garbage. And if everybody understands this, why is it you criticize a Hollywood celebrity? Well, they're a public figure. They criticize you. Well. No, don't freeze up now, buddy. It's free game, right? Free game. Everybody's like you posted yourself on YouTube. You wasn't just some ambiguous guy. You're in the comic section. You're technically a public. No, so I'm not supporting doxing nobody. But if somebody was make a video about him, they'll go on. They'll go off the rails and say, well, I don't think that was no, buddy. You put yourself out there. You could have just stayed quiet. Cause the one thing no one has noticed, right? Have you ever noticed that a video can get 10 million views and it only has 33,000 comments? Out of 10 million people, only 33,000 comments. And nobody thinks that's a very small viewer base. Like, hello, back to the main point. A lot of people should not be working on a lot of these projects. This is how you get stuff like Zeb Wells. This is how you like get a lot of stuff where people say we're big fans. So how do you butcher the story this bad? How do you directly contradict the lore? How do you do all these things wrong? How do you keep misinterpreting characters? It's because most people should not be writing for their favorite series because they don't understand it. They're just a fan of it. Just because you like something, just because you play something, just because you dedicate your life to something doesn't mean you're best for it. And most people can't see that. They can't see their own limitations. They can't be the bigger person and say, you know what? I can't do it. I gotta hire somebody else to do it. But they'll uphold and criticize and ridicule other people in that exact same scenario. Interesting. You worship celebrities like they're gods, but then surprised when they treat you like you're subpar human. You you put them in that pedestal, buddy. Why are you surprised? And it's just all across the gaming industry. Where people don't know what they want, or know what's best for themselves, which is very sad. Because when you see it from that perspective, right, wouldn't it always make sense that people will be attracted to large governments and political figures because they don't know what's best for themselves? And it's a very sad reality to realize that most people are not really good to themselves. They technically need a framework of law or political structure or some type of government to keep themselves from being animals. The worst thing I've ever seen across the internet is when people bring up superpowers, right? They never say I'll go work in an ambulance and become the best ambulance person. They never say I'll be the fastest fast food worker or I'll be able to fly around, or they never say doing anything positive with the powers. It's always I'll rob a bank, or they will always do something to hurt somebody else. And that's when I realized, like some days ago, the reason why American superheroes are the way they are is because most people do not have the heroic heroism as a Superman, as an Iron Man, as a Batman, as many of these characters. They don't have that moral default framework. Cause you ever wonder why Superman is this all-American guy, and he's such a decent person from this humble background? Because most people during his time were not like that. Same thing with Batman. How many billionaires are out there actually doing good work? But how dare you beat up criminals? So pause. Why should I feel bad for somebody who's breaking into somebody else's house, home, or bank, and robbing somebody else's money, but I'm supposed to feel bad because Batman broke his jaw and broke his femur? If you would have stayed at home and done literally anything else, that would have never happened. But I'm supposed to feel bad, but they're declaring people in the Epstein files to die. So do you want bad things to happen to criminals or not? You can't have it both ways. So if you ever wondered why, why is the classic American hero compared to anywhere else is this upstanding, great, selfless human being that have all these classical, that's what I kept trying to push, like Superman, truth and justice in the American way. It's what they wanted for the ideal American. They wanted them to be honest. They wanted to be good to other people. They wanted them to be selfless, but not to the point where they're so selfless they'll hurt themselves and not do what's best for themselves first. Because one thing Superman essentially taught people was, if Superman can't help himself first, he can't help the world first. So that's why you got all these selfless characters and so on and so on. The reason why the comic book superhero medium is not just because of the comic code. It's essential morality for most people, and that's why, like always, the next generation came up. It's the anti-hero guns, anti-hero guns. So you make superheroes more like real people, and people still complain. It's almost like those characters are made that way for a reason. Which is very funny. You guys should check out Superman vs. the Elite. Because that's pretty much the story is. A classical 1940s hero versus the Martin cynicism and edginess of the 90s. See? But it all just goes back to most people shouldn't do it. They won't make the right sacrifices. They won't do the right thing. They always find some type of way to take away the wrong thing from the medium. And they focus. That's a lot of things why. Another thing, right? I'll keep it short. As a creative, they don't care about you. What do you mean? When Dead Space 2 came out, who cared about the original guy? When Assassin's Creed 2 came out, who cared about the original creators? When GTA 3 came out, who cared about the original creators? I can go on and on and on. George Lucas was outcast from his own franchise and said he was the worst thing to ever happen to it. And he made it. He made it. But everybody wants George back now, right? But they love the same thing with J.K. Rowling. Now, whether you support J.K. Rowling's personal views doesn't matter. But the fact that the only reason people switched up on J.K. Rowling is because of what she said, and now Harry Potter is basic, Harry Potter average. So you held your tongue as long as she shared the same opinion. But now that she doesn't, so wouldn't that also mean all these reviews and criticism, all this is fake? Because it's only upheld by political ideologies and opinions? Isn't that corrupting your craft of criticism and review and oh, it's wrong when these other people do it, but it's justified when I do it. So I don't know. It's a whole lot of rambling in this video. I'm sorry about it. I got like this crick in my neck. I don't know where this came from. I was like really excited. I felt that quick. I was like, wait, what? Like I got enough life problems. Now I got 99 plus. Come on, man. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I went in depth and explain what I want to say the way I wanted to. But it really does goes back to that whole most people should not be working on certain things. This is why like I know, okay, Game of Thrones. You think season 8 was a mistake? Or season 8 was an accumulation of everything that was doing before. It's the same thing how people I brought up Dead Space, right? People love Dead Space 2, but for some reason hate Dead Space 3. But wait a minute, Batman. The same thing you complained about from Dead Space 2 to 3 happened to 1 to 2. But it was acceptable until, oh, they stepped on your toes and went too far. Why wasn't it a problem when they first made the change? Because these are the same people that talk about themes and integrity and staying close to what it originally was and being so on and so on. It's amazing how often they get thrown out. Not because it's a good product, just because they just don't. I don't know, it's fascinating. It really is. Really is. So that's, they want to, and this is why I've been adamant for Peter Parker, Tom Holland to be on his own, for he won't have to be upheld by other characters. He'd be able to stand out by himself. You know, like Andrew Garfield and many of these other guys, right? You know how they can stand on their own without having Iron Man in the movie, without having all these extra characters or the Hulk or Punisher. They could just have a movie by themselves. It'd be good. That's that. I'm not asking for a trilogy. I'm just asking for one. What he's actually Spider-Man. Tom Holland has engineered pretty much nothing outside of the No Way Home. At the end, he's engineered nothing by himself, really. Everything was given to him. Directly contradictory, like I said before, to Spider-Man. But I've been going full circle back to back. But yeah, all this stuff ties in with the TV shows, the gaming, the plots. If you ever wondered where these guys claim to be the biggest fans, but somehow they butchered the whole franchise, this is how it happens. Most people should not be working on their favorite project. We don't hire the biggest fan of the project. We hire the best person for the job. Because if capitalism worked like it's supposed to, then nobody would complain. If there's something you dislike, you would just go somewhere else and boost up their company, so on and so on. But it's not working like it's supposed to. Because you keep going back to the same poison watering holes because you don't want to learn nothing better. But you blame everybody else. So that is what it is. It's not supposed to be a long video. I just really wanted to discuss how just like most people don't know what they're doing. That's the reason why a lot of fan mangas get that stereotype of just doing anything and so on and so on. There's a reason why. It's not a mistake. It's not a coincidence. It's not some, well, most people. No, it's not most people. It's just that most people, like the people you telling to write this stuff, don't know what they're doing. What do you mean by don't know what they're doing? They don't have any, they don't know what they're doing as in, they're not going into the project with the mic headspace. Oh, I got bing bang boom, this is what I want to do. It's usually just, well, I like this idea, and I think that would be cool. Let's throw it together. Does it make sense? No, it don't make sense. Is it structurally sound as a plot? No. But you got these two big moments, though. Those are cool. Any surprise why this stuff is garbage? Is there any surprise? I gotta take something away from other videos I made. I really do. Because the one thing, even if you're broke, poor, struggling, or going through a hard time in life, the one thing you can always do is enlighten the next generation to give them the ability to do and be better. The one thing you don't hear anymore, boys and girls, is lead by example. That's it, lead by example. Because I gotta enter a writing contest one of these days, and I want to see how good I do. Because if I get crushed, I get crushed. If I make it, I make it. There's no in betweens. There's no whatever buts. But yeah. It's just been that general video to discuss. Most people should not be writing their favorite series or working on their favorite projects because they don't know what they're doing. This is why we get good Batman stories, good manga sequels, bad manga sequels. I gotta before I end this video, I gotta explain what I mean when I say they don't know what they're doing. Cause it's not just as simple as well, you got. So when you're creating something right at the beginning of your creation, at the end, it's not always gonna be the same thing. You will always portray your script. Your script will never portray you. Whether you have a change of mind with the script, whether you have limited budget on the script, you, in one way or another, right, most of the time, will portray the script because something else has come up. You come up with a better idea, or you come up from a different angle, and so on and so on. So the script, as a base front, will always be good, right? But most people don't have a good base script. Most people don't have a general idea, right? They just have a group of ideas, and they try to force these ideas that won't fit with each other and just smash them together like they're playing with two Transformers, and they expect a Lego masterpiece to come up when that's not going. I said the best way to put it, right? There are people who can open up a Transformer and can transform it real easily, right? And we have other people that break off two different legs and arms, and then just it looks like a crumbled pile of garbage. One, they don't have any instructions, but they know what it's going. They know what the general points. The other have no clue what to do. They just like it. They smash it together, and now we got legs, arms, and guns all over the place. Yeah, they got the kind of best comparison. I don't know, think about it. One, they have a general idea, a direction. They just have a problem executing it or bringing it to the finish. The other one have absolutely no idea or clue. They just know it's transformed into something great, and they're gonna make it work either way. But their legs and arms and guns falling off, it doesn't matter. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. And then look at the mess you made. Just parts all over the place. Ugh. Well, yeah, I've been up there. Kim got thoughts and opinions of the video. Do you believe that most fans should work on their favorite project or not? I would say no, because most of them don't have the best interest. They just have the personal bias. With that personal bias, it doesn't allow them to make the right sacrifices for the stories and for the characters. Because the one thing you must understand as a writer, if you didn't create this franchise, is you gotta respect the lore. You gotta respect from that came before you, and you got to make sacrifices and takeaways where it's just like, as much as I like this character, he'll be better put here. Even though it may not be a big part, at least he's there, right? And now overall fits better with the main character. But instead of doing that, well, the fans said you should bring back this character, and you bring him back and he butchers the story, then what? It's what you asked for, right? And this is why I'll leave you with this. I brought this up before. The customer is always right. It's a scam. It always has been. It always will be. How is it a scam? They're right. The customer is always right. No, not if the customer don't know what they want. If the customer does not understand the product they're trying to bring back to Walmart proclaiming it's broken when it's not, is the customer always right to give that refund? Because they go buy something else and have the same problem. Is that right? So the whole premise of the customer is always right. It allows corporations to sell you outright garbage, and as long as the customer say it tastes good to me, they'll listen to it. Same thing with music. Music can be outright trash. I think the beats sound good. The lyrics is outright garbage, but the beats sound good. So that's why I don't understand when people complain about the world. They're feeding their fan base, but the fan base proclaim they don't like it, but they keep buying it. Nobody who complains about 2K, unless you're getting paid to review it, should ever buy 2K again. Same thing with Madden. But it is what it is, boys and girls. All I can say is try. But as many of you can, like, come subscribe, and remember, most people should not work on their favorite friends. Right does not mean what you think it does. It allows them to sell you slop and mysterious goo, and as long as the customers don't say nothing about it or enjoy it, the customer's right, so you can't see how. Perfect case, right? The whole Skittle dye situation. The red dyeing Skittles of the past few years have been led to some cancer causing effects, right? Nobody took these people to court. Nobody held this company selling dye that could cause cancer to people for years. To that, no one ever held their feet to the fire. But Europe said they don't use this dye. Why does Skittle use this dye? You know, if you would have said something instead of waiting for somebody else to say something, it's just how many people you could have helped. It's been a video, like, comment, subscribe, and peace.